Hi, my name is Peter Willington and I'm a Commonwealth-Registered marriage celebrant. I'm coming to you today on the YouTubes from the courtyard of my townhouse in Nunda. And this is kind of an episode of Peter Willington Weddings Talks, because I'll be talking about my PA. Now, it's kind of an episode because I've had a pretty hectic week and I haven't actually had a chance to sit down and think about what I would say. So I was playing around with my box, as I'll introduce to you in a moment today, and I went, you know what, I've been meaning to make a video about my PA system. So I figured I'd do it. So please excuse me, I'm not reading from a script or anything today, just kind of talking as it comes to mind. So I really wanted to make this kind of video to run you through some of the differences between what I'm bringing to your ceremony and what is available in the battery-powered PA market. The reason being is I make some pretty outrageous claims on my website, and I wanted to make this video to actually back them up, because I don't say those things as an advertising gimmick. I say them because they're true. Why have I ended up with such a ridiculous system? Well, because I didn't like what was available out there in the battery-powered PA world, or in an off-the-shelf solution, for a number of reasons. One was they weren't powerful enough. The second was they didn't have the features that I wanted. The third was they weren't interchangeable and replaceable. And finally, I didn't like that you were locked into a all-in-one package. So if I wanted to buy a brand X speaker because it had the best battery, I then had to use brand X Bluetooth receiver, brand X microphone, brand X mixing desk, and all of those sorts of things. So that's why I, together with some friends of mine that are audio engineers and electrical engineers, and one guy who is just he's a pharmacist, but he enjoys all things sound, we sort of got together and built this box. I also want to give a bit of a shout out to the guys at VFM Audio and Brisbane Sound Group here in Brisbane, because they put up with me and eventually sort of got my vibe of what I was talking about. So every single element of this box has been designed by me and the people that were helping me, and handmade effectively. So that's why I can say that nobody else has anything like this, because I'm pretty sure everybody else, given the initial reactions I got from people when I said I wanted to do this, everyone else that thought to do this put it in the too hard basket. It took months to build this and to perfect it. So the first thing you'll probably notice about it as I'm talking about the box is it comes in two pieces. The second thing, if you're a little bit more astute and know something about speakers, is you'll know that this EV ZX-A1 isn't actually a battery-powered speaker. This is used to being plugged into the mains. The reason being, and this is one of the reasons why battery-powered PA speakers are so shit, is that they have to fit the battery and the transformer into the speaker. Therefore, they have to be smaller, less powerful, have a lower watt ratage. So just about every battery PA speaker that I know of operates at around the 400 watts mark. This is an 800 watt speaker. I also have the big brother to this speaker, which is a 1200 watt speaker. This ZX-A1, if you Google it, it's the touring line from EV being one of the leading speaker makers. I do not know of anything that is clearer, punchier, and better in an 8-inch package like this. Maybe some of the QSC stuff, but if you can tell me something that's better than this, I'll go out and buy it tomorrow. This is probably my favourite speaker. I used to gig with this. It is amazing. How it sits on the day is I've got this pole that sits on top of the box, screws in there as such. Speaker sits on top. Have audio cable coming out of the top of the box, power cable coming out of the top of the box. Now, moving on to the box itself, kind of unusual. The first thing I want to point out is this ugly dolly at the bottom isn't part of the box. It usually isn't on wheels. It's one of the things that I was playing with today and why I have everything out. But the first thing I want to point out is that I have a 12-channel mixer in here. The cool thing about taking the battery out of the speaker and putting it into a road case is that there is a lot more power available to me, which means I can run elements of a PA system that draw more power. So instead of having just one or two knobs on the back of the speaker to control the volume, I have a 12-channel mixer. That is why I can make the claim that I can run a 5-piece band through my PA system. Of the 12 inputs, I use 2 of them. So this system was really, really built with musicians in mind, because I think the greatest thing, as I've said on numerous occasions, is having live music while you walk down the aisle, but also having live music during cocktail hour. When I was being a musician at weddings, it used to drive me mental that I'd have to set up at the cocktail hour area and then also set up in the reception area. So this one's really for the musicians. So as standard, at the moment, I have 4 XLR inputs on the side, which patch straight in. Then I also bring a DI box, which the musicians can plug their guitars or their keyboards or anything into it. I can literally handle any instrument with a pickup. So if your musician or your friend has it, I can do it. The second thing about having the 12-channel mixer is also the amount of outputs that I've got. I use 1 output for the speaker, 1 speaker, 1 output. I can, if we need more speakers, so I can run another output from the desk, I can link it out of the speaker. On the desk or the mixer, I have 2 primary outputs, 4 auxiliary outputs, 2 more TRS outputs or 1/4-inch jack, another headphone output which is 1/4-inch jack, and then also I have USB record as well. If you tell your videographer that I can give them an output for a live feed in pretty much whichever way that they want to take it, or alternatively I can simply just press record on the mixing desk and give them a copy of the audio from the ceremony on USB, they will love you. So that's why I do offer that as another package. The other really key thing that I want to point out about this desk is that it's digital. So during the ceremony, of course, I do have the front of this box on, which you can see there. So it just appears as a black box with a pole coming out of it. How do I then control the levels is via the iPad. So I can have up to 10 different iPads or laptops or phones or any smart equipped device controlling the levels. It is password protected and you have to connect to the Wi-Fi. But for example, if you do have a band playing, they can look after their own mix. They can go in, they can make changes on the fly. I carry an iPad with my script on it. If I need to change a level quickly while you're reading your vows, for example, it's simple. Just jump over to the app, change the levels, all good. It just allows all of this flexibility that you just don't get in the average package. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, and I mentioned in the intro, was the features and how I'm not locked into one brand. The driving force behind it is that I wanted to use one of these as my microphone. The number one problem that Celebrants usually have is using a shit microphone. This is a Shure SM58. If you know anything about microphones, you would have seen one of these. These are the industry standard. While there are other great microphones out there, very, very few have the legacy, the history, and just the robust construction of a Shure SM58. It is bulletproof. I've been using SM58s for 15 years now, and I've never had one fail on me. Which is why I wanted to use it. The other thing that's really, really great about being able to have my own features and and integrate whatever I wanted rather than all in one package is that I carry spares. It's a matter of taking out 4 screws and unplugging one of these leads and plugging it into a new one to change anything that fails. I carry a spare one of everything. I have a spare speaker, I have a spare mixing desk, have a spare wireless microphones. Even then, I always plug in a wired backup just in case something happens in the middle of the ceremony. But it's a matter of 3 minutes to change anything out. So that's again why I can guarantee that when I get there an hour before your ceremony and I spend 10 minutes sound checking, because it's a simple matter of screwing in a pole and plugging in 2 things, flicking it on to get it going, is if something isn't working, it takes me 5 minutes to swap out whatever it is that isn't working. So I think I've pretty much hit on all of the features that I wanted, but again, what I really wanted to get through to you was that this is something that nobody else has because nobody else has been able to build it. Nobody else has something that's as powerful or as clear because nobody else is using this type of speaker. Nobody else has the kind of flexibility in terms of the mixing desk where I can give everybody that's involved their own version of the mixing desk so they can control their part. Again, I can have up to 10 people plug in, up to 10 different lines plugged in addition to what I'm using, 4 of which have direct inputs on the side. And then finally, again, I have gone out and bought the most reliable and my favorite producer of every element in the PA system. So I can sit there and say, genuinely, this is one of the best packages that are out there. But anyway, I think that's all I really want to say for today, but I really appreciate you watching. I hope this has been useful for you. If you do have any questions or something you'd like to see me cover in a future video, please reach out using either the comment section below, any of my social media platforms, or make an inquiry on my website. If you are still looking for a celebrant, I'd really love to hear from you. But other than that, have a great day, and I'm looking forward to chatting all things weddings with you again soon. Cheers.